A Short History of Communism. On a cold winter morning in 19th century London, factory chimneys filled the sky with smoke. Thousands of workers streamed into textile mills before dawn, laboring for long hours in deafening noise and dangerous conditions. Some became rich beyond imagination from this new industrial world. Many others remained poor despite working every waking hour. As cities expanded and fortunes grew, a question echoed across Europe. Must society always be divided between those who own and those who work? The answer offered by communism would become one of the most influential and controversial ideas in modern history. Communism began not as a government or revolution, but as a vision. It imagined a world without social classes, where wealth and resources were shared rather than concentrated in the hands of a few. The idea drew inspiration from earlier religious communities, philosophers, and reformers who dreamed of greater equality. Yet, it was in the 19th century that communism acquired its most powerful voice. In 1848, two German thinkers, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, published the Communist Manifesto. They argued that history was driven by struggles between social classes. Ancient societies had masters and slaves. Feudal societies had nobles and peasants. Industrial societies had capitalists and workers. Marx believed that capitalism, despite its remarkable productivity, contained deep contradictions. It generated immense wealth while leaving many workers impoverished and vulnerable. Marx predicted that workers would eventually unite, overthrow capitalism, and create a socialist society. Over time, social classes and even the state itself would disappear, giving rise to communism, a society organized around collective ownership and human need rather than profit. Marx expected such a revolution to begin in the industrial centers of Western Europe. Instead, it emerged in an unexpected place: Russia. Revolution in Russia. At the start of the 20th century, Russia was largely rural, poor, and ruled by an autocratic czar. Yet, it became the birthplace of the first communist state. The turmoil of World War I devastated Russia. In 1917, the czar was overthrown. Later that year, a revolutionary faction known as the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power. Lenin adapted Marx's ideas to Russian conditions. Instead of waiting for workers to spontaneously create a revolution, he believed a disciplined revolutionary party should lead it. The Bolsheviks soon found themselves fighting a brutal civil war. By 1922, they emerged victorious and established the Soviet Union. For supporters around the world, the Soviet Union represented a historic experiment, the first attempt to build a society beyond capitalism. For opponents, it was a dangerous dictatorship from its earliest days. Stalin and the Soviet experiment after Lenin's death in 1924. Joseph Stalin gradually consolidated power. Under Stalin, the Soviet Union underwent rapid industrialization. Massive factories, dams, and infrastructure projects transformed the country. Millions gained access to education, healthcare, and opportunities that had previously been unavailable. But the achievements came at an enormous human cost. Stalin forced peasants into collective farms, triggering widespread suffering and famine. Political repression intensified. Millions were imprisoned in labor camps known as the Gulag. Real and imagined opponents of the regime were arrested, exiled, or executed. The Soviet Union became both a symbol of modernization and a warning about the dangers of concentrated power. When Nazi Germany invaded in 1941, the Soviet Union played a decisive role in defeating Adolf Hitler. The victory greatly enhanced Soviet prestige and expanded communist influence across the world. The global expansion of communism. After World War II, communism spread far beyond Russia. In Eastern Europe, Soviet-backed governments took power in countries such as Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, and East Germany. In 1949, communist forces led by Mao Zedong won the Chinese Civil War and established the People's Republic of China. This was a turning point. The world's most populous country had become communist. Communist movements also gained power in North Korea, Vietnam, Cuba, and elsewhere. Across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, anti-colonial activists often saw communism as a path to independence and development. For many people living under colonial rule or extreme inequality, communism offered hope. It promised literacy, land reform, industrial growth, and national sovereignty. By the 1950s and 1960s, nearly 1/3 of humanity lived under governments that described themselves as communist.